Mason, are you going to be coming home late from work again today?
Yes, I have a meeting to go to for work safety. So go ahead and eat dinner before me.
Alright. Hey, I got yet another message from your mom today.
Is she going on about you having kids?
Yeah, asking when she'd get to see some grandkids. I had brought this up to you before, but can you make sure to let her know not to bother me so much about that? Having her try and talk to me about it again and again is getting a bit tiresome for me. It's like she's on my shoulder nagging about something that's near impossible for me. But she never wants to accept my answers.
My mom is really rude, isn't she? You're already 39 years old now, so she should know that it's too late for you to have kids now and just needs to give up.
I haven't given up on having kids yet, though. We both know that there's been a lot going on with me, and it's been an uphill battle this whole time.
Wait. You only have a little while longer until you're 40. If you haven't been able to have any babies yet, it's pretty much over for you.
Even if that's true, I still want to try for a bit longer.
Saying you want to try for a bit longer is a waste. There was no point in you going through all those treatments for your infertility, right? You're better off just giving up on all that and using the time you have left going out and focusing on you.
It was just that the timing and the things like that were off with the treatments I received. I still am working on battling my infertility, and so the next time I get the go-ahead, I'll need you there to help me.
Huh? You need me during your next chance? I don't want to, though.
If you can just try with me one last time, we can see if things work out. If not, then I'll give up on all of this myself. Please. I really feel that this year, if I try hard enough, I'll have a really good chance of becoming pregnant.
Are you just trying that hard because of everything my mom's been saying to you?
I mean, that is a part of it, but a small part. But there are much bigger reasons, too. I want to have a kid with you, Mason. Do you not want any kids?
It's not that I don't want any kids of my own, but they aren't gonna make it or break it in our relationship. So not having any doesn't really bother me much. I feel that it just being you and I forever can be a great life as well. Are you getting tired of it just being you and me, and that's why you're pushing so hard to have a baby?
That's not how I feel about us. I just feel that by having a kid or two, things between us could be even more joyful. And another thing is that I feel us giving up right now might leave us with lots of regrets later. I know all sorts of people that really regret not trying, but they're already too old to do anything about it. And I don't want us to be in that same situation. I understand there's nothing that can be done if I can't become pregnant. But if there's even a small chance that I can become pregnant, I want to continue trying.
All right, Alex. Then this will be our last year of trying. If we can't make it happen by the end of the year, we're done trying. Having to go through all this infertility treatment with you, it's tiring for us men and a bit of a hassle.
I know. Thank you for understanding me, though. I'll let the hospital know that the next time I'm in, you'll be coming along as well.
But I have things going on myself. Don't expect that on my days off I'll have time to come with you to see the doctor and such.
Okay. If we can get in this month, when would work for you?
Huh? This month? Don't you feel we're jumping the gun here?
If I only have a year left, I'd like to get things started with the treatments right now. Because they all usually take a few months, and if I manage to become pregnant, that'll be another 9 months of having to carry the baby. Time is only passing by at this point, and we're losing valuable days.
I don't think I can make this month work. I have all sorts of plans on my schedule. And I've already offered to cover another coworker's time off for him, so I can't pull out of that now.
Then, can you tell me later what days are still open for you next month? Then I'll be able to make an appointment on time and not have to worry about there being no openings.
I don't have any information on next month's schedule just yet.
Well, even if you don't have a concrete schedule, can you give me some dates that might work? It's not that we have to go on that exact date, but it'd be a good idea to at least put a date in and have a spot reserved.
Huh? I'll tell you soon. But there is a chance that I might not be able to make it work on that date, so don't get upset with me.
Alright, I promise I won't. Thank you, Mason. I know that this is a lot of work for you, but together we can make all of this happen. Mason, listen! I was able to become pregnant!
Huh? Seriously?
Yes, finally! It has taken us so long to get to this point, right? Thank you so much for being there with me through all of this. But don't tell your mom just yet until we have an expectancy date.
Hey, Alex? Do you plan to still give birth to that baby?
Yeah? Why would you ask me such a trivial question?
I'm sorry. I didn't really think that you'd be able to become pregnant. So right now I'm very shocked.
By this point in my life, a lot of people would have given up, right? But after all our hard work, we've been able to have a miracle. So I'm going to see my pregnancy through and have this baby. I'm so very happy for all of this.
Are you sure that's okay? Having a baby at your age, you had to have a lot of strength to give birth to that baby, and I'm not sure you'll last.
I know that it'll all take a lot out of me, but I'm ready to fight for my baby. I know that right now I'm on the tail end of being the age to have babies, but to make sure that I can have the baby, I'm going to start going to the gym and building up some muscle and training my heart.
By the time that baby turns 20, you and I are going to be retired.
That's right. So, we have to make sure that we both start working out more so that we can stay active and healthy longer.
No, that's not what I was talking about. I'm just wondering, with the way things are between us, is it okay to have that baby?
What do you mean by that?
Well, everyone around us is all young and having their kids. 40-year-old woman having a baby is almost unheard of.
But I feel that it's a lot less rare for that to happen before.
I just wonder if this will be rough on our child. Having your own parents become elderly while you're still young.
How about we just don't think about that and work hard to enjoy a happy life together?
This isn't some kind of drama. And as for you and I, we have to think about more than just our family. Right now, I'm sure you don't want to think about it, but soon you might have to.
You don't have to talk about that as though it'd be wrong for us. Aren't you happy to see that I'm pregnant now?
to be real with you, I'm just thinking it's better for us that you don't have that baby.
Uh-huh. Why, though? Why would you think something like that now?
I said it just a second ago, but I didn't expect that you'd actually get pregnant. I just assumed that the treatments wouldn't work and that you'd end up quitting on all of it. That's why I tried a little more to help you along.
What the heck? So that's how you felt while helping me?
I'm sorry. I just thought that by helping you through that last part, you'd feel better about giving up. And I'm totally fine with our family being just the two of us.
I'm going to have this baby, Mason.
Please think about it a bit more. Do you really think that by having that baby now, it'll be able to live a happy life?
But this is the baby that we've worked so hard to have. So I can't just let it go now after the miracle I've been given.
I'm sorry for talking about this while you're so happy to be pregnant. But in the end, I think I'm against you having that baby.
Don't say things like that, please.
Well, we're back home. How about you and I discuss this one more time?
All right. But know that I'm having this baby whether you like it or not. I'm not going to be swayed from my choice. Mason, the whole reason you've been against me having this baby is because you have been having an affair, right?
Huh? What are you going on about now? I think you're just freaking out a bit too much now that you've been told not to have that baby. Stop trying to make things up now to make yourself look like a victim.
This isn't me making up anything, Mason. I had someone look into you a bit deeper after we first discussed the baby. And they came back to me letting me know that for a year now you've been cheating on me.
Really? What, do you have proof of this?
You don't want to admit it, do you?
Well, it's your fault for not being able to have a baby for me sooner. My mom has been on me for years now asking me to show her a grandchild.
And that's your reason for cheating?
Well, younger and more healthy women than you have much higher chances of bearing a baby for me. And at this point, if I'm gonna get married again, I want it to be with a younger woman.
Then why did you work with me through all of those treatments?
I told you before, right? I assumed that you'd never actually be able to get pregnant. I thought that by being there to help you, you'd eventually give up on all that. And then when you told me you'd given up, I could use that as my excuse for divorcing you. That's why I helped you. Well, unfortunately, things have become a whole lot more complicated now.
Unfortunately? Don't say things like that about me becoming pregnant.
But I didn't think things would work out with you. You're only just now getting pregnant. You're almost 40 years old. I'd at least enjoy hearing a thank you from you or for giving up a lot of my salary caring for you after we married when you never had a job of your own.
You're the worst, Mason.
Say whatever you like. But with that, don't have that baby. If you do still decide to have it, I'm not gonna be its father. And actually, before you do have that baby, I'm going to divorce you.
I became pregnant with this baby while we've been married. So you'll still legally have to be its father. And I already told you that the baby is coming.
Well, even if that's the case, I'm not going to do anything for you two. It's your fault for still having the baby when I'm telling you that I won't be its father. And to be very real, You're far too old to be having a baby, so it'll probably die for some sort of birth defect, right? Is that what you want happening?
No matter what kind of baby it is, I'm giving birth to it.
Is that correct? Well, if you do still have it and it's able to survive, I'm still not gonna be paying child support for it. If you don't promise to let me leave and not pay anything to you guys, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you when you get home.
Are you kidding me?
Not at all. Just when I was getting ready to divorce you, you had to become pregnant and start looking into me. At this point, I wish I never even married you in the first place. Maybe you've only been with me because you want my money.
Shut up. I don't even want you to pay child support for a kid you don't care about. Once we've divorced, I'm getting out of this house right away. But be aware that after that, you are to never come around me or my kid ever again.
And that is totally fine with me. I'm sure your age having to raise a baby as a single mother is gonna be hell. Don't come asking me for any help. I'm gonna be marrying a young and beautiful woman soon. And I think she'll be able to have a baby for the two of us very easily compared to you. I hope you can have your baby as well, though. Although you might find it a bit too stressful at your age having to care for it all day and night. Alex, it's been a while. Actually, can you tell me where you've gone off to? I just ran into you a second ago, but you instantly ran off. This is my new phone number, so make sure to save it under my contact. And if you're just gonna ignore me, I might as well just delete your contact info as well.
Stop trying to mess with me.
I'm not trying to mess with you. If you feel that I am, then maybe we should talk a little.
You ended up changing your phone number.
I did change it, but I made sure to keep all your contact info on me. And thank goodness that I didn't end up throwing your info away. I was just starting to get a little worried that I forgot your phone number and all.
So, what do you still want with me? You are just a stranger to me now, so I don't have time for games.
I'm your ex-husband, so stop trying to give me the cold shoulder. And also, I was surprised. You have turned into a fine-looking piece of woman. Compared to the woman you were when we divorced, you are like a goddess.
Oh, is that so?
What does that reply? You may have turned into a fine woman, but your character's only gone downhill now.
I'm not in the mood to talk with you anymore, so can we call it here? We promised back then to never talk to one another again, right? So I'll be going.
Hey, wait. That kid that you have right now is pretty famous, right? Is that the kid you gave birth to back then? And are you the manager right now since you're their mother?
I wouldn't be able to lie to you now because you'd figure it out eventually. That is, in fact, my daughter.
No way! So that really is the kid from back then. I suppose that would make sense considering the age she looks. Go and tell her all about me, being her father.
What? I never gave birth to your kid.
Huh? That baby you became pregnant with before we divorced. Did you end up not having it?
I did have that baby. But what I'm saying is that after the divorce, I no longer viewed you as the baby's dad.
What the heck? I was a bit afraid for a second there. I knew that girl you had with you looked a bit like me.
Well, even if you think so, she's got nothing to do with you. We promised to never be around one another ever again, right? So stop with all of this conversation, please.
Well, look, since you and I divorced, I've had a lot of time to think about it. Thinking about why such a bad thing happened between us.
Is that so?
And after you left, I got married to that younger woman. But she turned out to be a complete waste of my time. Just before we were gonna get married, she told me she had married another man.
Well, that's what you get after cheating on me, right?
And ever since she left me, I've been living all by my lonesome. And every day, my mom was still going at me for not bringing her a grandchild yet. All she brought for me were these ugly-looking hags. And so, for the past 9 years, I've been on my own.
Oh?
And I'm sure things have been tough for you, right? Being a single mom having to raise that girl? You've had to work a ton while also caring for that kid all along. Leaving you with no downtime, right? But maybe you've been doing fine since you have a child star as a kid.
I haven't changed one bit, and I'm still working a full-time job. And I'm making sure to not make my daughter do any more work than she's happy to do.
Well, even if the two of you are doing okay in that aspect, you're still having to work too much, right? At this point in time, you and I are now 50 years old. So I'm sure that having to raise and care for her all on your own has been backbreaking. Hey, Alex? Do you think that you and I could try getting back together? After all, your daughter's father is single again, so you can have me back there helping to take care of her. So from now on, let's you and I get back together and make a happy family of 3.
Well, Mason, I'm sorry to have to break it to you while you're having such a fun time explaining all of that to me. But I'm married now. I have been doing a great job raising my daughter, and she has her father here as well helping her out. So I'm not in any sort of trouble like you think. I'm having the best time of my life every day with my family.
You got married? With who? He has to be pretty screwed in the head for wanting to get married to an old woman who already has a kid. I know that he's only with you for the money and for that little girl of yours.
You're the only man I see going after my money. My husband is making at least 10 times the amount of money I am, so you don't have to worry about him. And he's being an amazing father to my daughter, as though she were his own blood.
But I would love you and your daughter a whole lot more than he could.
You think so? Even though after 10 years of never contacting me about either of us? And when you haven't even been paying child support for her? If you actually had any love for her or me, then you would have been doing something with that love. All you're doing right now is being a pain in the butt by thinking that you have the right to be her father.
But whether you like it or not, I'm a real father, right?
You and I both made an agreement that we'd never talk to one another again after the divorce, right? So, because of that, we don't think of you as her father.
Does that have to do with anything now? Let me see my daughter! If you don't let me see her, I'm gonna go on social media and start ruining both of your guys' images!
The only person that'll regret doing something like that is you. And if you still feel like you want to go online and start spreading lies about us, I'll have to take you to court over defamation.
But that girl is my daughter, and I have a right to see her!
Who cares? You were the one that cheated on and divorced me. And my husband right now cares enough about my daughter that he views himself as the real father.
But just let me see her! I'm her real father by blood, so you cannot say no to me! I bet you're afraid of her saying that she wants me to live with her!
After all that you've put her and I through, you will not be allowed to see her. You didn't even bother to pay for her care, so you're nothing more than a stranger to us. But if you really still feel as though I'm being unfair here, then go get yourself a lawyer and take me to court over it. I'll allow you the enjoyment of seeing how little you can do against the law.
Come on, Alex! Let's you and I just meet up and talk this through.
What do you want to talk about? The moment you and I ended our marriage, you become a complete stranger. What do I have to say to you to get you to understand that?
I am actually really regretting ever letting you go.
And so what? I have a new husband now. And the only reason that you've come to me now after all those years is because you're having financial issues, right?
Huh? What are you talking about? That's not the reason I'm talking to you now!
I've heard all about you from others in town. After things between you and that woman soured, you began to go out with other women from strip clubs and such. But to keep those whores around with you after losing your younger woman, you went into debt paying all of them.
Who told you all that?
Why does it matter who told me? I have heard all about you and the situation you've made for yourself. But that whole time you never knew a thing about what's been going on with me. And that's perfect because I've heard that all your friends that you've had and others that trusted you began to leave after you started asking them for help.
But you should be the #1 person that understands my situation now, right? When you needed help as badly as I do now, I came to your side and helped you make that girl.
And you were the one that left me when I was at my most vulnerable and needed you. Why are you trying to make it seem like you saved me back then? The only person I see as being there to help me was my husband. And even now, he's so kind and affectionate that he's willing to understand why I was so destroyed back then. Even my daughter calls him the #1 dad, and we have made a beautiful family.
Well, if you're so happy, at least give me some money!
Money? You're the one that should be giving me money. You're in that much trouble now that you're just going to ask me for money like that?
This is about the money we should have split the divorce! Now give me what I deserve! Have to think about how the divorce set it up? I feel I didn't get a fair amount! But I let you take all that money because you had to raise that baby on your own! Now that you have a husband that has a ton of money, you can pay me what I wanted back then!
You really are the most hilarious idiot I've ever met.
Huh? Is that so?
Even after 10 whole years, you haven't become any less useless than you were before. You really are the biggest disgrace.
Alex, I really want to make things right between us.
And I've thought that with all my heart that you divorcing me was the best thing ever. You laughed at me back then because I'd become a single mother, right? Yet, right now, the one who's suffering the most is who? At the age you're at, asking a woman to get back together with you because you're in so much debt is disgusting. Never ever talk to me again. Immediately after that, I went and blocked Mason's number on my phone. And with the thought of him trying to take some kind of action against me, I spoke with my husband and we made a few plans up. With the money he has, we were able to get a lawyer that we worked with to make sure that what might come next could be handled with no damages to us. But even after a few months have passed by, there has been nothing from Mason that made us worry. I never ran into him again outside the house, and so I'm starting to think he just left town. Or has become a NEET within his own home. I feel as though what really happened with Mason back then is that his younger woman may have heard about what's happened to us, and that's what drove her to find another man quickly. I'm sure that now that it's been 10 years for him without any luck, there's no chance of him getting married again. I've heard that he's now back home living with his mom. And to pay back all of the debt he's in, he has to live with her while slowly making all that money back. And as for his pushy mom, she's now bothering him even more about the grandchild that'll never come, as well as about all the debt he's in. But I'll be honest, for a man in his 50s, I don't think he'll ever be financially free ever again. And if he is close to breaking free from his debts, I'm sure another thing will come along to put him right back into that hole. As for me, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum from him, living a wonderful life with my cute daughter and loving husband. My daughter has a lot of work that she needs to get done as part of being a star, which means my life is also very busy. But I think she's going to be taking a break for a little while after this year. Once this year is over and she graduates elementary school, my husband will be retiring from his job and we'll all be moving overseas. I'll also end my job there and be a housewife taking care of her husband and daughter while relaxing. My daughter said that she might take a break for the rest of her schooling, and so we'll make sure that while she's studying, she continues to train in the performing arts in case one day she does want to get back into being a star. Although our lives are very busy and full of plans now, I find it much better than what the future could have been like with Mason as my husband. I'll make sure to keep my family happy and healthy for the rest of my life. And to never forget that all this was made possible due to my ex's selfishness. I really look forward to what comes next for my family.